Street Beats, what's up? Once again, headed back fishing. I hate driving, so what I do when I'm driving is I record a video because, you know, why not? It consumes the time, and it's funny. I was thinking about my friend Ricky. Sorry, I'll have a bowl of split pea soup today. I'm hungry. I'll get to that later. It's impolite. But I'm Italian, so for those that don't know Italians, well, at least Sicilians, we eat and talk. That's what we do. And so I got it from my grandparents and mother. First of all, we all ate it. When we'd all sit down to eat every day at the table, we always ate together. It was a talk fest. Everybody was talking over each other, reaching and grabbing food. You eat with your mouth full. That's just what Italians do. Arabics do the same. So my wife's Arabic, and so it's normal to her. They're very just social when they eat. And instinctivently, now, every time I go to eat something, I always want to get on the phone or talk to somebody or text somebody. It's just what we do. You know what I'm saying? We start eating, you start interacting. I don't know why. But so that's why my natural inclination is like, all right, I'm going to talk now. Time to eat. It's not that I'm being rude or gross. It's just what I grew up doing. So anyways, I'm heading out fishing. Once again, steelhead fishing. I caught one last week. One. So I kind of broke the curse. I broke the curse. But anyway, so now I'm heading out to go fishing again. I got a 35-40 minute ride. I figured I might as well share a story. And so I was going to talk about these, my friend Ricky. I don't know, I've told stories about him before. He's a funny guy. I think he's back in prison, I think. But also about the not social clubs, but after hours clubs, or what we call blind pigs, or you might call rave parties, whatever. I got into that for a while, and I'll tell you how I did. But I was thinking about it, like how I got involved with it, and I had a cousin. His name was Dominic, which is, ironically, he married my 4th grade girlfriend, which I didn't know until years later. Like, I wasn't close with him. I just knew he was a cousin on my great-grandparents' side. But we knew we were cousins. We were aware of that, and we called each other cousins. When I'd see him in the club, he was like, "What's up, cuzzo?" or "Cousine." And that's pretty much how we all were. A lot of us, anyways. There was a lot of us that were related somehow through blood or marriage, and we all kind of were like, "What's up, cousin?" That's just the Italian way. When you're born, like you go to a wedding or family function, anniversary party, funeral, whatever, and your parents go, "Oh, this is your cousin Dominic," or "This is your Uncle Tony," or "This is your Aunt so-and-so." And that's it. You know, you don't question it or ask how they are. You're just like, "Oh, that's my aunt." So you might see them years later, or they call the house or stop by, and you're like, "Oh, hi, Aunt," Ida, or whoever it was. I had an Aunt Ida, which is my grandmother's sister. She was nice. Her son married Tony Giacaloni's daughter. That's how we were related through a marriage. But anyways, so me and Dominic and another guy named Pete, who was a cousin too, like a half cousin, all decided we're going to do this. And I'll get into that in a minute. But as I was thinking about it, I was like, I'm trying to recall the whole story so I know it, how to tell it in detail without screwing it up. And this is where I hunted my deer, by the way. This is where I shot my last buck. This nice guy let me hunt his property. He was mad cool. Couldn't believe it when I said, I'm going to go out there with a bow and sit against the trees. Like, you're never going to hit a buck. First hunt, bang, I got one. That's just because I know what I'm doing. Kind of. I'm better than most guys anyways. Studying. So, a lot of work and studying to get to that point. So, anyway, so Dominic ended up marrying this chick. And I didn't know. Maybe I did know, I can't remember, but one day I was sitting in court, which is funny. Let me just tell you why I was in court. This is crazy. So all these stories blend together, and that's why I got to kind of always remember them, because I can get them convoluted. I'll mess up a detail or something. My 30, 40-year-old story. This one's like 22 years old. I was going to drop off an ounce of heroin to a friend of mine, I'm not joking, who was a Detroit gang squad cop. He was a cop, and he sold drugs. And I'm not gonna say his name, but he knows who he is. He doesn't like follow me closely because he's scared I might mention his name and talk about what he did. He's not all there. And so he told me he wanted an ounce of heroin, so I jumped in my car. I was getting ready to go jet skiing that day. It was spring, I remember that. It was a nice spring day. So this is like 8 months before I went to prison or something like that. Maybe it was the year before, not long before I went to prison. And he tells me he wants the ounce of heroin, right? It's like $4,500. So now I'm gonna make like $1,200. So it's a good gig for me. It's worth it. Go run it over there. He lived in Detroit. I lived out in the suburbs. It was a nice Saturday like afternoon. In fact, it was Memorial Weekend, come to think about it. I remember it because I didn't want to sit in jail. My bond was $5,000. But so I pull my jet ski out and I wax it up and I get it started, you know, charge the battery, all that stuff, because I've been sitting in the garage all winter. So I'm getting ready to go jet skiing. And I call a couple of my boys and I'm like, let's go jet skiing. They're like, yeah, bet, let's do it. Let's meet at the beach and we'll put the skis in and we'll head out to Gull Island and we'll just, you know, have some fun. I'm like, hell yeah. But before I do this, I got to call this dude and say, I got to drop this ounce off. So he tells me, yeah, he wants it, but he says, let me know before you come so I'm here. So, all right, an hour after I clean my jet skis up, I got basketball shorts on, no shirt, no shoes, and I'm covered in like wax, you know, from the buffer. Got the buffer, and wax splattered all over me. I look a mess. I'm driving my Suzuki Grand Catera, which is just like a small SUV. Got a big kicker in the box, which actually played a role into what happened in the back. And so I drive to his house, go down Gratiot, which is the main thoroughfare that goes into Detroit on the east side. The main one. There's a bunch of them all the way over to Woodward, and that one straight down downtown too. But on the more east side is Gratiot. It's the main one. It's like a 6-lane highway, 8 lane, whatever it is, main thoroughfare. I drive over 8 Mile, right? So here's the problem. Many drug addicts drive over 8 Mile and get their dope in the city, and then they come back 20 minutes later or 30 minutes later, whatever, 10 minutes later, and they're headed back to the suburbs where they live, out in the suburbs, right? A cop that must have been watching saw me cross 8 Mile. I don't have a really flashy car, but it's a nice black SUV with tinted windows, rims, and a kicker in it, so it looks a little suspect. So I cross 8 Mile, I go to dude's house, he's not there. The reason I even went is because his phone was busy. I kept calling and it's busy and it's busy and it's busy, and I'm like, he must have the phone off the hook or something, or I don't know. Like I remember it was busy. It was a cell phone too, I think. It was a Nextel. It was busy, so I thought something must be wrong. He's home. I'll just go drop it off, get this money, and be gone. But when I get there, his girl tells me that he went out to Belle Isle with the kids, so he's gone. So now I got to turn around and go back out to the suburbs where I live, planning to go jet skiing, and I got an ounce of heroin right in this thing right here. Ounce of heroin's about the size of a golf ball. So if you don't know, give or take a little. And as I come crossing back over 8 Mile, I'm about an 8.5 mile, which is what is it, Frazo, I think is the Frazo. It's the half mile mark between 8 and 9 Mile. And there's some girls in a convertible Mustang up in front of me. They're like two hotties, but they're like looking for an address on Gratiot, so they're going slow. So I'm right up on their ass, just like, you know, come on. But I want to see what they look like, you know, because there's two hotties in a convertible. So I got the kicker just bumping, boom, 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 just pounding. I'm like, how are they not hearing this and like looking back like what the F? Because, you know, had a 15-inch kicker in the back, you know, it was pounding. They must have had the music up or something, or weren't paying attention. They didn't even look back at me. So by the time I'm like right on their ass, I look in the rearview mirror and it's a narco cop is behind me with the lights on. A narco cop is a guy, it's an all black car. So it's an all black like Crown Vic. But the lights are in the dash and stuff, and he's got it in this like bumper and crap, and it's flashing. So thankfully I had that big giant kicker which kind of blocked most of the back window because it went up almost to the top, you know, maybe this much. So I freak out, and I know I have a suspended license for a seatbelt ticket, and I'll get into that in a second. But I end up taking the ounce of heroin out of the glove box thing here, and keestering it. If you know what keestering is, well, then now you know. It's up my ass. I stuck an ounce of heroin up my ass. It was wrapped in like multiple plastic cellophanes. Because, by the way, if you stick an ounce of heroin up your ass and that thing leaks, you'll die. It's not even a question. You'll be dead in minutes. You're out. Done. But I knew it was really wrapped really good, and the reason it was done that, and we use rubber bands to do that, and like quadruple wrapped it, is because if a dog happens to stop you and they're sniffing your car, they won't smell it as easy, so you can hide it from the dog. So you really wrap it up really good, which I did. So I was pretty confident I'm not going to die. So I shoved this ounce of heroin up my ass. Cop pulls me over in the middle of Gratiot because I started to like keep going so I could find somewhere to pull over that wasn't in the middle of the street. And he gets on this thing, pull over. I'm like, all right, well, pull over middle of the freaking road, man. This is 8-lane highway, people blasting by Saturday afternoon. And he says, first of all, you were tailgating those girls. I said, they kept slowing down. I think they were looking for an address. They kept slowing down. He said, well, it doesn't mean you have to tailgate. He's like, second of all, your stereo system. I felt you go by. I was, 50 yards away, and I felt it. I'm like, whatever. He's like, the ordinance is 50 feet. If you can feel it at 50 feet, it's disturbance of peace. I'm like, whatever, man. Because he's looking at the kicker in the back. He says, how your license and registration? And the truth was, I thought my license was good, right? Because I'll flash back is several months before this. Yeah, this is not that long before I got locked up, because I started a home improvement company called Toco Homes, and I had a cousin of mine who was a Toco, and I said, let's do this together, go into business. I'll do the sales and deal with the contractors. You do the LLC licensing and bonding because you're the businessman. And he says, yeah, let's do this. And I told him how much money we could make, and he knew we could. So he says, yeah, let's go. So we started an LLC and a company. We started this company, right? Toco Homes. Toco Home Improvements is what it was. And so one of the ways I would get clients for us, customers, is I would go scab clients from the Novi Home Improvement Expo, which was awesome. And I still do this today. I still scab clients this way for my publishing company, because I constantly get ads for publishers and self-publishers on my Facebook, because I work in that space and I make promotions for books and da-da-da. So the algorithm picks it up and sends it out. So I see people like commenting on it, like, yeah, I'm interested, or I'm working on a book, and I'll just message them and say, listen, this company's a scam. You're going to get robbed. They're going to do a crappy job on everything from editing to proofing. They're just going to upload it or outsource it to some kid in India, pay him $50. You're never going to sell any books. You're wasting your money. Blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, a lot of them are like, yeah, I got scammed. I'm like, yeah, I know. I just talked to that guy yesterday who I got a new client who he already spent $6,000 to get his book published. It wasn't up to par. He wants to take it down and have it professionally done, so he's hired us to do it. Another guy I talked to yesterday spent $15,000 publishing his book, and so far he's only got 7 reviews on his book. Pretty sure that the company did a good job, but $15,000, man. I told him, if you would have spent $5,000 on me, I could have took the other $10,000 and used it for marketing, and you would have sold 30,000 books, and you would have made your money back 20 times over by now. He's like, I know. I'm like, I said, well, if you want to hire me to do some marketing, a marketing campaign, I'm happy to help you. But it's a shame that you spend $15,000 on what we could have done probably better for you for $5,000. You know what I'm saying? That's our price, $5,000, $4,500, $5,000. So, anyways, I would go to the Home Improvement Expo and in a shirt and tie with my little like leather valise and business cards, and I'd see people who were shopping in like kitchens and bathrooms were the most money, and that's the thing I knew the best. Like the easiest way to make the most money was to sell kitchens and bathrooms. But we did everything from roofing to concrete to decks and additions and all that. We could do anything. I mean, we didn't do it. We just contracted it. We had contractors who could do the work, so we'd just sign the job, get a deposit, pay the contractor. They do the job, we get paid off, then we pay the contractor off. Pretty simple. And if I would have stayed with that before I went to prison and just wasn't on drugs and out there doing gangster stuff, I'd be a multi-millionaire right now. I probably would have sold my company for $20-30 million by now. That's how easy it was. And anybody can do this. I mean, I had to take my contractor's license twice. I failed the first time, studied what I'd failed and went back the second time and took it. So it's like it was like $350 to take it the first time and then $50 to take it again. It was easy. The math part is where I failed because I suck at math, you know what I'm saying? But I just studied that part and then went back and took it. So now I'm a contractor. And then we, you know, license insuring, that's a whole nother thing. Bonding, it's like typically you're insured the second you step on a customer's property, their homeowner insurance covers your crew, you, everybody. So you don't need insurance. So that's how we got around that. But anyways, so I go to the Home Improvement Expo and I see people like in the kitchens and bathrooms, like they go into one and they go into these various booths and just big, you know, displays, booths, you know, big ones, multi-million-dollar companies. You know, they might spend $5,000 a day to have their booth there. All these like demo stuff, you know. And I'd walk up to the customers and I go, I see you're looking at kitchens and bathrooms, you know. You're in the market for new kitchens and bathrooms or a new kitchen or whatever. And they go, yeah, actually we are. I'm like, listen, I'll tell you what, I'm a new company looking to build a portfolio of satisfied customers. I'll beat anybody's price in this place by at least 30%, more like 40. And I'll give you a lifetime warranty on everything. So if anything breaks, we'll come fix it. If anything fails, we'll replace it. Which, you know, stuff don't break for 10, 20, 30 years. They forget about you. They don't even remember the name of the company. So I was like, I'll give you a lifetime warranty and guarantee on all the work, all the materials, everything, and I'll beat every price in here by 30, 40%. Do your shopping, get your price, get your budget, give me a call. I'll come out. You can pick the countertops, you can pick the cabinets, you can pick everything you want, and we'll have it done. And I'll be like, well, how can you do that? I'm like, well, I'm a new company, so I work out of my home office. So I don't have to pay a big lease for a building. I'm the main sales rep, so I don't have to pay, you know, sales. I'm the main marketing guy. I don't have to pay for marketing. And we refer on satisfied customers to refer us our clients, our customers. So I do a good job for you, and then 2 years from now, you have a friend who's getting a new kitchen, and you say, hey, I got a guy, great company, did a great job, lifetime warranty, these guys are really great, respectful, they clean up their mess, da-da-da-da. And I said, then you call me up. I didn't give you a commission. What do you mean? Well, I'll give you 10% for all referrals, because I'm earlier in the game right now. I'm lowering the price, but as I grow the company, my prices will go up a little bit, and I'll afford to pay you a commission. So if you refer me, your Aunt Betty, who needs a new $10,000 kitchen, if she gets a kitchen from us, I'll bring you $1,000 cash. Bang, there you go. And I did it. People referred people, and I come right knock on their door, like, here's $1,000. You kidding me? I'm like, yeah, I told you. You're like, wow, I know a guy at work who needs this, and I know a guy who did. Now they're trying to be sales reps for me, you know? So that's what I did. So when I was leaving the Home Expo that day, I had this little Jeep truck. It was a Jeep truck. Cool little thing. It was a stick. I was pulling out of the parking lot at the expo after scabbing like a bunch of customers. I gave out like 100 cars. I got a bunch of names, you know, client, potential customers. I had to go out and give demos and pitch and sell them the job. And I'm leaving the parking lot, and I pull out, and some douchebag cop pulls me over, right? So he pulls me over, and I'm like, why are you pulling me over? He's like, well, you didn't have your seatbelt on. I'm like, I wasn't even out of the parking lot. And when he pulled me over, by the way, I was clipping my seatbelt in. So I was literally like, I hadn't pulled out of the parking lot yet. And I told him, I said, Joe, I hadn't even pulled out the parking lot yet, man. I was clipping it in. He's like, well, you didn't have it on, you were driving. I'm like, really? He goes, what's with that knife? I had a knife on the dash in the little like cubby hole there, like a big knife, like a hunting knife just sitting there. And I said, bro, you know, I work in the city, you know, I drive around town, and I'm saying that's there to protect me. If somebody tries to attack me or carjack me, I want to have ability to defend myself. He's like, that's illegal. You can't have that out. I said, you got to be kidding me, bro. Have you really, bro? And so he says, yeah, and he gives me a ticket for seatbelt. Oh, and he arrests me for the knife. He arrests me for the knife. Impounds my car. This mother effer. And I was in the back. When I got back in there, booking me and fingerprinting me, I'm looking at, there's two cops in there, and there's an older guy, and I go, you're a rookie, huh? He goes, no, I've been on the force for 2 months. I'm like, exactly, I could tell. I'm like, only a douchebag would run. I look at the other guy, I'm like, you man, this guy's a freaking douchebag. I got a knife in my dash that I just keep there in case I have to protect myself. He arrests me and impounds my car over this. I'm wearing a suit and tie, and I'm leaving the Home Improvement Expo. It's not like I'm a killer or a gangster, or they don't know that. They don't know. Maybe they ran, I'm sure when they ran my name, that's what it was. I'm sure it was, because they run my name and all kinds of, convictions and arrests and bonds. There's an officer approach warning on me. That's a whole nother freaking story, man. When I was like freaking 16 years old, I punched a cop in the face, sort of accidentally while they were jumping on me. I was a drunk kid. So I like swung and hit one of them, boom. And ever since that day, they have an officer approach warning, spur, they call it, on my file. So he runs it, he get that, I'm a criminal convicted of selling dope and all this stuff. So he arrests me, and then in the back, I'm telling this to the freaking main cop, like the sergeant or whatever, lieutenant, and I'm like, bro, and the cop tells him, you're not charging him for that knife, man. So they let me go. They fingerprint me, push me through, tell me don't have a knife on the dash line. But my car got impounded, and I'm on the west side, way on the west side. So now I have to have my girlfriend pick me up. Then I have to come back in a couple of days when it's not the weekend and pay freaking $300 to get my car out of impound. It was a freaking nightmare. The seatbelt ticket. So I go to court. I remember going to court for it. I'm not sure why. I thought I was going to fight it. That's what it was. I'm like, yeah, it's whatever it is, $150, $100. I was in the parking lot. I wasn't driving yet. So I was like, I'm going to just tell the judge that, right? Judge doesn't care. They say, you got to pay it. It's $110, right? So I go up to the window and I pull out my wallet, and all I got is $100. It's $100 bill. I say, all I got is $100 on me. And they're like, that's fine. Give us the 100. Send us the other 10. You have 30 days to do it or whatever, and you're good. I said, okay, cool. Went home, forgot about it. Totally forgot about the $10, right? Fast forward 6 months, and I get pulled over with that ounce of heroin shoved up my ass. And the guy runs my name, and he comes back and says, man, you got a warrant, step out of the car. I'm like, warrant for what? He's like, unpaid seatbelt ticket. I said, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Only my luck, you know what I'm saying? Only me. Like, no, freaking, that's the luck that I had back in the day. Like, God did not want me to be a criminal, man. He was like, listen, you idiot, just get your act together, man. And so he puts me on the grass in the median, like between this huge, massive highway that's just booming on a Saturday afternoon. He says, sit there, don't move. He starts ripping apart my car, and I'm like, yo, man, why are you searching my car like that? He's like, you just crossed 8 Mile, and 10 minutes later, you come back. I saw you. He's like, were you buying drugs? I'm like, nah, bro. I went to my friend's house to see if he wanted to go jet skiing with me, man. Look at me. I got basketball shorts, no shoes, no shirt. I'm covered in wax. I said, dude, I was just seeing, his phone was busy, so I decided to go over there to see if he wanted to come jet skiing with me, but he wasn't home. He went to Belle Isle. That was the kind of lie. It was half lie. And so next thing you know, another cop pulls up next to my car. Now, people are driving by and they're looking at me, man, because there's a cop behind me with the lights. Another cop pulls up. They get out with the dog, and they start going through my car, freaking like ransacking my car. Now, I'm sitting in the grass, flat bottom down, ass to the grass, because I got this ounce of heroin plugged up my butt, And the dog's going through there, and he says, there's a hit. And I'm like, there's no freaking hit, man. But the dog did hit where the heroin was, though. But I think that's just because I had some weed in there before, And maybe I had put some bag of weed in there at one point. And it had nothing to do with the heroin, I don't think. But they're like, it's hit. So next thing you know, they take my kicker and take a drill gun, driver, and pull these big kickers out. They also take my briefcase, rip it apart, throw all my paperwork and contracts and everything everywhere. Just throw it all over the car. It's trashed. They trashed my whole car and pull the kickers out, but don't put them back together. Then they impound it. And they arrest me for the driving on suspended, because my license was driving on suspended. My license was suspended for the stupid $10 I didn't pay for the seatbelt. Unbelievable. This is our government. This is how petty and stupid. Now, today, probably wouldn't do that, man. If you were black, you could be driving with a machine gun, and they'd say, sorry, sir, we didn't mean to bother you. Be on your way. We have no problem. You see nothing. Me, they freaking arrest me and beat my ass. That's what they did. So they arrest me, right? And so I'm freaking out. But they don't really, the dog doesn't search me or sniff me. Because they looking at me. I got nowhere. I don't even have pockets, you know what I'm saying? I got basketball shorts, don't even have pockets. And I don't have any underwear on. So I tell the guy, because he comes over, he's like, let me search you. I'm like, what are you going to search, bro? I'm naked. I got no shoes, no shirt. I said, look, my shorts don't even have pockets. They have no underwear on, bro. I'm about to go swimming. And he kind of pats it down. He's like, all right, nothing. And the dog's over there. They nothing, right? So they bring a flatbed. I said, dude, listen, you better not trash my freaking car. I said, you know, because they had impounded it once for another arrest, and they scratched it up. And I'm like, you better put that on a flatbed. I'll pay the extra $50 or whatever. So they call a flatbed. They take me to jail. I walk in the jail. They bring me in, hand me off to the booking cop who's in the back by the jail part. And they said he's under arrest for driving on suspended. You know, we impounded his car. So the cop comes over and looks at me and goes, I got to search you. I have my cell phone in my hand, by the way. My Nextel cell phone in my hand. He says, we got to search you. And I looked at him. I said, bro, they already searched me twice. I mean, look at me. I got the same thing. I tell him the story. I got nothing. I'm naked. He goes, yeah, all right, go ahead. Step into the cell. So he doesn't ask for my phone, though. So I'm like, I ain't going to give it to him. So I walk into this jail cell. And the first thing that I do is sit down and crap out that ounce of heroin and flush it. Because, you know, even though it was $5,000, I really did not want to risk, you know, who knows. Maybe they search me again. Maybe they have the dog come in and smell me, or randomly it smells me, starts barking at me. They do an x-ray. I don't know. I'm just like, I ain't risking it. I'm crapping this ounce of heroin out in the toilet. Kaboom, flush, done. So now I'm on the phone, and I call my girl, and I tell her to come get me. And I told her I got freaking like $4,000 in a jar on the fridge. Grab that, and then go to my friend Pat and get the other $1,000. You know, he'll give it to you. She says, okay. 45 minutes later goes by, and I'm like, yo, I'm like yelling, yo. And I'm like, first of all, I said, why is my bond $5,000? And they said, well, you've had 19 driving on suspendeds in your life. So once you get past 5, the captain can set your bond wherever he wants, between 0 and 5,000. So he set yours at 5,000. It's Memorial Day weekend, Saturday. Memorial Day is Monday. So they're $5,000 bond. You want me to sit in jail for 3 days on a $5,000 bond for a ticket, for a $10 ticket? You know, now they're driving on suspended, but it's like I wasn't intentionally driving on suspended. I just forgot to freaking pay the $10. They didn't care. They're like, it's $5,000. It's the only way out. So 45 minutes later, I'm like, where's my girl? I start banging and yelling. They come back. What's your problem, dude? I said, has a girl been here, a little short girl, brunette, come to buy me? She's like, yeah, she was here 20 minutes ago. She didn't have enough money. I'm like, what? Didn't have the money? I told her what it was. She's like, yeah, she had to go get some more money. So, you know, half an hour later, they say, you made bond. I walked out. I'm like, what happened to my girlfriend? I said, what happened? She's like, I was $1 short. $1. I literally just counted wrong, and I was $1 short, and they wouldn't let you out for $4,999. And so that was what led me. So now I got to go to court for all this so I can get my $5,000 bond money back, right? So I get a lawyer. Neil Rockheim was his name. I actually brought it up with him. He doesn't even remember it. He was a big shot lawyer. He still is. He's a huge lawyer. I've actually interviewed him. He was the dude who put Jack Kevorkian in prison. And so anyways, very high profile dude. And I just said, you know, this is the situation. Can I give you $500 just to, you know? He's like, yeah, I got you. It'll literally take me like 3 minutes. So I'm like, all right, bet. So I go to the East Detroit Police or court in a couple of weeks for court. I walk in, the place is jam-packed, man. The whole courtroom was stuffed. The whole lobby got like 30 people, plus like 50 in the courtroom. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be here all freaking day, right? So I'm waiting for Neil to show up. He comes walking in, this nerdy-ass lawyer, Jewish lawyer, he's got his briefcase. He walks right past me. I'm like, Neil. He's like, oh, there you are. He's like, come on, we're next. I'm like, what? We're next? I said, man, there's got to be 100 people in front of me. He's like, no, we're next. He says, come on, step into the courtroom. So he goes in the courtroom. He goes up to the prosecutor. Prosecutor whispers something. Prosecutor goes up to the judge, whispers something. They call it. They said, next court docket, State versus Alan Lindblom, driving out suspended. Like, he just booms in there. So I go right up to the front. Now, all these people are in there watching this. Like, damn, dude, who the frick is this guy? You know, like I'm a mob boss. You know, the lawyer comes in and says, F everybody, we're next. I walk in there, and he said, don't say nothing. Just say that you attempted to possess, or just say, what was it? No ops on person. So just tell the judge that you forgot your license. You didn't have your license. That's all you tell them. Don't say nothing else. And so I get up there and they say, what'd you do on this date time? I said, Your Honor, I was just driving, but I forgot my license, my wallet that day, and I was driving out. He says, okay, fine is $300. plus court costs, bang, 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 you're out of here. That's it. So now I get my bond money back. So I walk out of the courtroom, and as I go over to the window so I can give my bond receipt, so I can get my $5,000 back, some girl kind of walks out of the court, and she sits down and she's looking at me, right? And kind of looking at her. She looks familiar a little bit. Kind of look at her, no big deal. She's cute, about my age. At the time, I think I was 29 years old, so I was still a pretty young kid. And she says, Al. I'm like, yeah? Do I know you? She says, I'm not going to say her name. I'm not going to say her name because somebody will figure it out because she's got a very unique name. It says and I said, oh, no way. I said, no way. How are you? I hadn't seen her in freaking years, you know. Since Skateland, since I used to go to Skateland when I was in 8th grade. But she was my 4th grade girlfriend. And her dad caught me kissing her. And which is scary when you're in 4th grade. And so she starts telling me, she's like, oh, I married your cousin. And she's telling me, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, how's he doing? He's like, not good. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, he's abusive. He's a drunk. He slaps me around and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So that leads to a whole nother story that I won't get into now because it leads to, well, it turns out that her uncle was a mob guy and he was a somebody. And that's how, they were all connected. The uncle knew my cousin's family and everybody, and that's how they met and got together. Well, Dominic was a freaking abusive douchebag, and he ended up paying a price for that. And I had something to do with it. I had led him to the slaughter in a way. They told me I had to do it. They asked me to do it. I had a choice, I guess, but he had it coming. You don't beat your wife. And he said, because I warned him, I said, bro, what are you doing, slapping your girl around? She told me, it's like, no way, man, she gets drunk and she freaking hits me. I said, if you can't control your wife, dude, you're a punk. You don't beat your wife. That's pussy stuff, man. You know what happens in our family, with people like us. You don't hit women, bro. He's like, no, I won't do it no more. Then he kept doing it. So, anyways, that's that whole situation. And she starts talking to me, and I get to the window. And I get this $5,000 that cashed me out, whatever. It was like $4,700 or whatever it was, because they kept $300 plus the court costs. So, and she saw the whole me walk in, and then the baller lawyer walk in and F everybody and put me on. She thinks I'm some kind of boss. And but anyways, that's the same kid, cousin, who I went into business with on the After Hours Club. I guess I'm out of time, so it's been 32 minutes. F it. I'll just tell the other story later. You just got that one. You know what I'm saying? I'm out in the woods now. I'm about to pull up to my fishing spot. So this is one of my favorite trails. This is where I go snowmobiling, four-wheeling. I used to live on this trail, actually. My road that I lived on, this turns into it. This remote rural road, about 10 miles from here, but it's all just trail. The whole freaking thing is just wilderness trail. And my road only was 5 miles long and only had 7 houses on it in 5 miles. So that's where I lived when I first got out of prison. You can imagine the first thing that I got out of prison, driving down this remote rural road. I just left prison a couple hours ago. My boys are driving me. I'm looking and going, wow, this is going to be my new home. I'm so excited. I just couldn't believe I was free. It's pretty cool. But anyway, so yeah, I'll get into the After Hours clubs and Ricky after. They're pretty funny. But moral of that story is don't be driving around with an ounce of heroin. And but if you are, you could always keister it and shove it straight up your booty hole. Just saying. And it wasn't pleasant. But it may have kept me from doing 5 years in prison, which probably would have been better. I probably would have been better off getting caught with that and going to prison for a couple of years than what inevitably happened a year later when I went to prison for 13 years. So probably friggin' would have been better for me. For now, God bless. I'm after these fitch. Yep. I'm just saying. I'm out.